Curious alien queen demanded to see what makes humans different. The twin moons hung low over the shining city of Aurelion, painting silver ribbons across the metal towers. From the distance, the auric spire looked peaceful, glowing like a jewel under a violet sky. But inside its walls, secrets older than the stars waited. Hidden in the shadows, Jax Mercer pressed his back against a smooth wall that felt almost alive. It pulsed faintly under his gloves like the skin of some sleeping creature. His breathing came slow and careful. He had done dozens of missions for the Alliance, stealth runs, data extractions, rescue ops, but this one was different. The air itself felt heavy, as if the building knew he didn't belong. The voice of his commander echoed in his memory. "Get in. Retrieve the world seed key, don't get caught. This artifact could change everything." Simple orders. But Jax had learned long ago. Nothing was ever simple in alien territory. He looked down at the glowing map on his wristband. Thin blue lines showed the interior roots of the spire. The relic chamber was near the top, inside the central core. Between him and it were 3 guard patrols, 2 security nodes, and a maze of corridors that twisted like a living organism. "Piece of cake," he muttered under his breath. Activating his stealth suit, Jax began climbing. The gloves held fast, their micro-suction pads gripping the wall like spider legs. The climb was long, but he moved with practiced ease, his breath calm, his body flowing from motion to motion. Halfway up, a light swept past him, a drone scanning. Jax froze. The drone paused, humming inches from his boots. Then it drifted away. Only when it vanished did he move again. He reached a narrow window and peered inside. The hallway was empty, bathed in soft green light from bioluminescent panels that pulsed like veins. Quiet. Still. Perfect. He slipped through. The floor beneath his boots rippled faintly, liquid metal reacting to his weight. Every step created tiny waves that shimmered under the light. The air smelled clean, almost too clean, like rain before a storm. "Feels like walking inside a heartbeat," he whispered. As he moved deeper, the halls grew stranger. Walls curved, turning from metal to a smooth crystal substance that reflected his image back at him in distorted shapes. In some reflections, his eyes looked alien. At the first junction, Jax saw motion. A tall guard, skin glowing faintly blue-green, moving with slow grace. The alien paused, listening. Jax held his breath, pressing against the wall's curve until the guard turned away. Then, in a single soundless move, he darted across and disappeared into a dark alcove. "Too easy," he said with a half-smile. He continued on, but the deeper he went, the more alive the structure seemed. The walls hummed. Lights shifted like eyes following him. It wasn't just architecture, it was intelligence. Something ancient was watching. At the next corridor, a red beam flickered across his path. A sensor grid, thin, deadly lasers that would slice through even his stealth suit. Jax crouched, pulling a small silver sphere from his belt. With a flick, he rolled it into the hall. The device blinked once, then burst in a silent pulse. For 2 seconds, the beams vanished. Jax leapt forward, rolled, and slid through the last line just as the grid reactivated behind him. He exhaled sharply. Still got it. Finally, he reached the door, tall, engraved with spiraling alien runes that shimmered when he touched them. The lock glowed orange, scanning for a genetic signature. Jax attached a forger pad to it. The pad hummed, cycling through thousands of possible codes. Seconds ticked by. 1 minute, 2, then click. The door parted like a blooming flower. He stepped inside the relic chamber. The room was vast, round, filled with soft white light. Strange patterns danced on the ceiling like moving stars. In the center hovered the world seed key, a small egg-shaped object floating above a pedestal of energy. It shimmered with colors he couldn't name. Jax's heart pounded. "Hello, beautiful," he whispered. "Let's make history." He reached out his hand, and the world exploded in light. A dozen armored figures appeared from hidden alcoves, weapons trained on him. The air buzzed with energy, and standing at the far end of the chamber, calm and radiant in armor that shimmered like moonlight, was Matriarch Lysara, ruler of Aurelion. Her silver hair flowed like liquid light, her eyes deep violet and unblinking. "Well," she said, her voice calm, almost amused, "a human thief in my sacred hall. Tell me, why does your kind always chase what it cannot understand?" Jax raised his hand slowly, a faint grin tugging at his lips. "Maybe we just like a challenge." Her smile deepened. "Good, you're going to find this one." Enlightening, the guards closed in. And for the first time, Jax realized the mission had only just begun. The world around Jax dimmed to a soft haze of silver light. He blinked, disoriented. When his vision cleared, he was no longer in the relic chamber. The ground beneath him was smooth and cold like glass, and faint lines of light pulsed through it like veins under translucent skin. His wrists were locked by thin rings of energy that hummed quietly but firmly. He had expected a cell. Maybe stone, maybe metal, but this was something else. The air was warm. The walls glowed faintly, showing moving images of stars, oceans, and strange living forests. It felt less like a prison and more like a dream made solid. "You're awake," said a calm voice. Jax turned his head. Standing by the door, framed in pale gold light, was matriarch Lysara. She wasn't wearing the battle regalia he'd seen before. Now her armor was gone, replaced by a flowing robe woven from what looked like strands of starlight. Every movement made the fabric shimmer, reflecting the pulse of the room. "I didn't expect to be treated to 5-star hospitality," Jax said, testing the restraints. They didn't even tremble. "What's this? Some kind of telepathic trick?" "No," Lysara said softly, stepping closer. "This chamber reads your body's rhythm and keeps you calm. Humans are impulsive creatures. I don't want you doing anything foolish." Jax laughed under his breath. "Lady, you kidnapped me." Her lips curved in a faint smile. "No, I saved you. If I wanted you gone, you would already be a memory in the dust." That silenced him for a beat. Her tone wasn't arrogant. It was just certain. She circled slowly around him, studying him the way a scientist might study a rare discovery. "Tell me, Jax Mercer," she said, pronouncing his name perfectly. "Did your alliance send you because they think they can control what they do not understand? Or because they are afraid?" He met her gaze, steady and defiant. "I don't know what you think you've got locked up here, but we're not afraid of knowledge. We protect it." "Protect," she repeated softly, tasting the word like something strange. "That's what every empire says before it falls." Her violet eyes glowed faintly as she waved her hand. The air shimmered, forming a holographic image, the world seed key pulsing with inner light. But this time the vision expanded outward, revealing something greater, a vast mechanism in the shape of rings orbiting a glowing heart. Energy flowed like rivers of light. It wasn't just a relic, it was part of something enormous. "This," Lysara said, "is one of 3. The world seed engines, built by those who came before even our oldest records. They could reshape worlds, heal them, or destroy them." Jax stared. "Then why keep it locked away?" "Because power doesn't just tempt the unworthy," she said. "It corrupts the good." She turned toward him, her silver hair catching the glow. "Your alliance believes this is a treasure, but it is a responsibility, and if you take it, others will come for you. The Vor Dominion watches us already. They hunt the engines. They would turn creation itself into a weapon." Jax frowned. The name Vor was enough to twist his gut. Everyone in the outer colonies knew them, merciless conquerors who drained entire worlds dry. "You're saying they're after the key?" "They're after everything," she said simply. "And you, little human, just told them where to look." Jax felt his stomach drop. His infiltration had been clean, or so he'd thought. "How long before they arrive?" "Hours, maybe less." Lysara stopped in front of him. Her expression softened, but her voice remained firm. "Now you understand why I kept you alive. You brought the storm to my doorstep, and I intend to survive it." Jax leaned back, the energy cuffs flickering with his movement. "So what's the plan? Throw me to them as bait?" Her smile was faint but sharp. "No, I need something stronger than bait. I need a human mind that isn't bound by fear." She placed her hand against the restraints, and they vanished with a quiet hiss. He rubbed his wrists, confused. "You're letting me go?" "I am giving you a choice," she said. "Fight beside me to keep the relics safe, or walk away and watch this world burn from orbit. I'll even return your ship." Jax studied her. Every instinct screamed not to trust her, but there was something in her tone, calm, sure, almost weary, that told him she was telling the truth. "You don't know humans very well," he said finally. "We don't walk away from fires. We put them out." For the first time, Lysara smiled fully. It changed her whole face, suddenly less distant, more alive. "Then perhaps," she said, "we might yet survive what comes next." The floor beneath them pulsed once, a deep vibration rising through the air. Somewhere far above, alarms began to sing. The Vor Dominion had arrived, and the uneasy alliance between human and alien ruler had just begun. The alarms faded into a low rhythmic hum as the upper halls of the auric spire sealed themselves. Jax followed Lysera down a narrow stairway that curved like the inside of a seashell, glowing faintly with threads of blue light. The deeper they went, the quieter everything became. "Where are we going?" Jax asked, scanning the walls. His wrist device was useless here. No signal, no map. The structure blocked every frequency he tried. "To the foundations," Lysera replied. "To what your kind might call the heart." "The heart of the building?" "The heart of my people," she said softly. Where it all began. They reached a massive door made of translucent metal. Strange glyphs ran across it like veins of light. Lysera placed her hand on the surface, and the symbols shifted beneath her fingers, opening in a smooth spiral. The door folded inward, revealing a chamber unlike anything Jax had ever seen. It was vast, large enough to hold a starship, and filled with moving rings of liquid alloy, orbiting a pedestal that glowed from within. Each ring was covered in runes that pulsed with slow, deliberate rhythm like breathing. Jax stared in awe. "You built this?" Lysera shook her head. "No, we only guard it. This is one of the world seed engines, the ancient machines that can rewrite matter itself. What you tried to steal above was only the key, one piece of its code." The air around the ring shimmered faintly, as if the chamber itself was alive. Jax took a slow step forward, feeling the vibration through the soles of his boots. "And the other pieces?" "Scattered," she said. "One buried beneath the ice of Dravon 6, another lost to time. The third?" She hesitated, her expression darkening. "The third lies somewhere your alliance has already touched." That made Jax look up sharply. "You mean human space?" She nodded once. "Yes, and that is why I cannot face this war alone." A sudden tremor shook the ground. The walls flashed crimson. A hollow, metallic roar echoed from somewhere far above. "They've entered the upper levels," Jax said, instinctively checking the blaster holster that was no longer there. "For Dominion, strike teams move fast. They won't stop until they have the key." Lysera walked to the nearest console, a smooth circular platform that floated a few inches above the floor. Her fingers traced symbols across its surface, and streams of data burst into the air. Alien script flickered like rain. "Do your people always announce their approach with this much noise?" she asked dryly. Jax grinned despite the tension. "We usually blow something up first. Maybe they're learning from us." She gave him a sideways glance, one that carried both amusement and respect. "Then we must learn to survive their lessons." The chamber lights dimmed as a projection appeared between them, an image of the planet from orbit. 3 red dots blinked on the surface, closing toward their position. 4 landing craft, Jax said. 3 squads, maybe more. "They found us faster than expected," Lysera murmured. "Someone on the surface must have betrayed my defenses." Jax clenched his fists. "Then it's not just about the relic anymore. You've got a spy problem too." "Perhaps," she said. "Or perhaps they simply followed the human." Jax met her gaze but said nothing. She wasn't wrong. The tremors grew stronger, sending ripples through the alloy rings. The whole room seemed to vibrate as if the machine itself sensed danger. Lysera turned to him. "We must move the key. It cannot remain here. And take it where?" "They've already surrounded the spire." "Not out," she said. "Down." She pressed her hand to the pedestal. The floor beneath them split into 6 perfect segments, revealing a spiral descent lined with glowing veins of energy. "You're kidding," Jax muttered, peering into the depth. "You've got another level?" "The builders did not think small," Lysera replied. "Follow me. And whatever happens, do not touch the walls." Jax jumped in after her, landing on a narrow platform that carried them downward at dizzying speed. The air grew cooler and faint whispers drifted through the dark like voices speaking from the metal. "What is this place?" he asked, unease creeping into his voice. "The Chamber of Origins," Lysera said. "The first site of contact between our world and the architects who created the engine." As they descended, the glow intensified until the darkness gave way to a wide circular space filled with tall crystal spires. Each one held a suspended figure, frozen in light, neither alive nor dead. Jax stepped closer. "Are those people?" "My ancestors," Lysera said. "The first guardians. When the engine was sealed, they offered their lives to maintain its core. Their minds still echo here, guiding the spire." A shiver ran down Jax's spine. "You mean this whole place is alive because of them?" "Yes," she said. "And they do not sleep kindly. The ground shook again, this time harder. The crystalline spires flickered, their lights dimming. From above came the sound of breaking stone and collapsing metal. "They're breaching the upper ring," Jax said urgently. Lysera's eyes narrowed. "Then the time for secrecy is over." She extended her arm. The World Seed key floated down from the pedestal above, settling into her palm. It pulsed with deep golden light reflecting in her eyes. "Your people want power," she said. "The Vor want control. I want survival. But if we are to defend this world, we will need more than walls." Jax met her gaze. "You mean an alliance?" Lysera nodded. "A human's unpredictability and an Aurelian's precision. Together maybe we stand a chance." Another explosion shook the ground. Dust rained from the ceiling. Jax drew a sharp breath, his instincts flaring alive. He grinned despite the chaos. "Then let's make this official." Lysera extended her hand, then welcomed Jax Mercer of Earth to the heart of the storm. And as their hands met beneath the living light of the engine, the spire itself seemed to awaken, its pulse quickening, its walls alive with power. Above them, the first Vor breach pods broke through the sky. The war for the World Seed had begun. The twin suns were setting over Aurelion, painting the sky in molten gold and violet. From the highest balcony of the Auric Spire, Jax Mercer watched the colors bleed into darkness. It was beautiful, and far too calm for what they were about to do. Down below, the city shimmered like a sea of living glass. Drones drifted through the air, scanning for movement. Streets curved in spirals, alive with quiet bioluminescence. To an outsider, it looked peaceful. To Jax, it looked like a trap waiting to spring. Behind him, Lysera approached, her robe replaced by sleek armor that gleamed like liquid silver. The faint hum of the suit matched the rhythm of her heartbeat. "The Vor Dominion will come through the southern arc," she said, studying the glowing map projected between them. "Their agents have already infiltrated the city. When they detect you with the key, they will strike." Jax smirked. "Good. Saves us the trouble of finding them." She looked at him with mild disapproval. "You humans treat danger like a sport." "Because it keeps us alive," he said, checking the settings on his wrist unit. "Besides, if I die doing something stupid, at least it'll make a great story." "That is not a comforting thought," she replied dryly. They had been preparing all day. The fake World Seed key, crafted by Lysera's engineers, pulsed inside a small containment case at Jax's hip. Its energy signature matched the real one almost perfectly, at least for the next 12 hours. After that, the disguise would collapse, revealing it as an imitation. That was all the time they needed. "You remember the plan," Lysera said, her tone firm. "You will move through the northern causeway toward the lower markets. My hidden forces will track you from the rooftops. Once the Vor show themselves, we strike together." Jax nodded. "And if they send more than we expect?" "Then we adapt," he grinned. "Good. I like adapting." Lysera's violet eyes lingered on him a moment longer than necessary. "You do not have to do this," she said quietly. "If you run, no one would blame you." Jax fastened his gloves. "You're right. But humans don't run from fires, we run toward them." Her lips curved slightly. "Then may your fire burn bright, Jax Mercer." He gave her a two-fingered salute, then leapt from the balcony. The stealth field around his suit shimmered faintly as he disappeared into the city below. The streets were alive with quiet hums and drifting light. Jax moved through the lower levels, sticking to shadows and reflections. Every few blocks he made sure to pass under a surveillance drone's range, enough for them to spot him, but never close enough to identify him clearly. The bait had to move just right. Minutes later, his wristband vibrated. One pulse, then another. "They're here," he murmured. Lysera's voice crackled softly in his earpiece. "We see them. 8 hostiles, split in pairs. Their signatures are faint. They're cloaking." "Figures," Jax said, ducking under a bridge arch. The Vor always liked their theatrics. He slipped into a deserted marketplace. Rows of empty stalls glowed faintly under cold lights. The air smelled of ozone and metal. His boots made no sound on the polished floor. Then, without warning, a shadow moved behind him. He spun just as a Vor agent uncloaked. A tall, angular figure in black armor with pale, glistening skin that reflected no light. Its eyes were pure black and its voice hissed like static. "Human, you carry what is not yours." "Yeah, well," Jax said, pulling his sidearm. "That's kind of my thing." He fired once. The shot hit the Vor square in the chest, but instead of dropping, it absorbed the blast, armor rippling like liquid. The alien lunged. Jax rolled aside, fired again, and dove behind a column. Contact confirmed, he whispered into the comm. And they brought toys. We are converging, Lysara replied. Her voice was calm, but there was an undercurrent of tension. Another shadow flickered. 2 more agents joining the first. Their movement was eerie, synchronized like puppets on invisible strings. Jax ducked low, grabbed a flash charge from his belt and tossed it forward. The blast lit the market in white fire. The Vor staggered, momentarily exposed. Jax bolted, sprinting toward the central promenade. He knew he was being herded, but that was the plan. His wristband blinked rapidly. A signal. Lysara's team was in position. Time to make this show count, he muttered. He burst into the open square where the city's light converged on a great mirrored fountain. The water shimmered like liquid glass. He stopped in the center, chest heaving, the fake key glowing faintly at his side. The Vor appeared in a half circle around him, their weapons humming with energy. Then, the air above shimmered, and Lysara's soldiers decloaked in perfect formation along the rooftops. From a nearby tower, Lysara herself descended on a levitation disc, her staff crackling with light. For Dominion! Her voice rang across the plaza, amplified by the city's speakers. You violate the sovereign ground of Aurelion. Leave now, or face judgment. The lead Vor tilted its head, its voice dripping contempt. Your judgment ends tonight. Jax smirked. Lady, looks like diplomacy failed. Then we do it your way, she said, her staff igniting in a spiral of white fire. And just like that, the plaza exploded into motion. Beams of light cut through the air. Energy bursts collided with shields. The fountain shattered, sending arcs of molten water across the square. Jax fired, rolled, ducked, moving like a shadow among lights. Lysara's soldiers fought with impossible grace, their weapons bending light into curved arcs that sliced through armor. But the Vor didn't retreat. More ships descended through the haze. Jax looked up, heart racing. They sent reinforcements. Lysara's eyes flashed. Then so will we. Above the clouds, Alliance dropships decloaked, sleek, angular, and bristling with weapon pods. They roared into formation, bathing the plaza in the thunder of human firepower. Lysara turned to Jax, her voice steady amid the chaos. You said humans run toward the fire. So run, Jax Mercer, because this city just became one. He grinned through the smoke, adrenaline burning in his veins. Wouldn't have it any other way. And together, human and alien, charged into the storm. The city of Aurelion was burning with light. Beams of energy streaked through the air like falling stars. Explosions echoed from the plazas and bridges as the Vor Dominion stormed the capital in relentless waves. From the smoke and fire, Jax Mercer sprinted across a shattered walkway, the fake World Seed key clutched tight at his side. His heart hammered. Behind him, the air shimmered with incoming blasts that scorched the metal tiles beneath his boots. Mercer, status! Lysara's voice cut through the static in his earpiece, steady but tense. Still alive, Jax panted. Not sure how long that's gonna last. Do not let them corner you. My sentinels are closing in. I'd love that, Your Highness, but I think your sentinels are busy getting vaporized. He dove behind a collapsed spire as another blast tore through the street. The shockwave sent ripples through the ground. Dust and sparks rained down like glittering ash. Jax peeked out. The Vor were advancing, dark angular silhouettes moving in perfect coordination. Each step was silent. Their armor shimmered with distortion fields, bending light around them. Above, Alliance dropships fired down beams of suppressive fire. The city trembled under the duel of alien technology. Jax tapped his wristpad. A holographic map flickered into view, showing the central plaza ahead, where the ambush had started, and now the retreat point Lysara had marked. But something was wrong. A red triangle blinked near his position, too close. He turned just in time to see a Vor operative materialize behind him, blade raised. Instinct took over. Jax spun, grabbed the creature's wrist, and slammed his elbow into its throat. The alien hissed, armor rippling from the impact. Jax pulled a shock baton from his belt and jammed it into the joint seam. The electric discharge sent blue light crackling through the Vor's body before it collapsed. Jax stepped over it, chest heaving. You guys really don't do personal space, huh? A new voice answered from behind. Cold, metallic, confident. Neither do humans when they smell blood. Jax turned. The towering figure of Executor Krell, the Vor commander, emerged through the smoke. His armor was black as obsidian, absorbing light instead of reflecting it. His eyes glowed faintly red through a smooth mask. "Well," Jax said, raising his blaster, "you must be the boss fight." Krell's voice was low and calm. "You carry what belongs to the Dominion. Hand over the relic and I may let your bones remain intact." "Tempting," Jax said, "but I kinda like my bones where they are." He fired 3 times in quick bursts. The bolts splashed harmlessly against Krell's armor, absorbed by some kind of energy dampener. The Vor leader advanced without pause. With one smooth motion he swung his arm, and an energy blade extended from his gauntlet, humming with deadly light. Jax barely ducked in time. The blade cut through the air, leaving a streak of glowing particles. He countered with a kick to Krell's side. It was like kicking a wall. Pain shot up his leg. Krell's other arm came around fast. Jax blocked, rolled, then fired a grenade charge from his wrist pad. The small explosive burst against Krell's chest, staggering him backward. Jax took the chance to run. He darted through an archway and down a sloping corridor. His earpiece crackled again. "Jax." Lysara's voice came through. "He's here, isn't he?" "Oh yeah," Jax said, breathless. Tall, angry, shiny armor, bad attitude. "That him?" "That is Executor Krell," she said grimly. "The Vor general who burned 3 colonies in the Trion Belt. You must not face him alone." "Well, you're too late for that memo." Jax turned a corner and found himself back in the central plaza, the same place where it had all begun. The fountain was gone, replaced by smoke and rubble. The fake key pulsed faintly at his side, its energy signature drawing every scanner within miles. Krell stepped through the haze, blade burning crimson. "There is nowhere left to run, human." "Good," Jax said, pulling his baton free again. "I hate running." The air trembled. Then with a flash of white light, Lysara descended from above on a grav disc, her staff glowing like a captured storm. "Executor Krell." Her voice rang across the plaza. "You violate our world's sacred ground. Withdraw or be erased from it." Krell's head tilted. "Ah, the matriarch herself. How poetic. To fall beside your pet human." "You mistake alliance for weakness," she replied coldly. He raised his weapon. "No, I mistake it for hope." And then he charged. The battle that followed was chaos and beauty combined. Lysara moved with the grace of a dancer, her staff deflecting energy bolts with shimmering arcs. Every strike released ripples of light, bending gravity around her. Jax fought beside her, fast and reckless, using speed instead of strength. Together they were motion and instinct, alien precision and human defiance. Krell's blows were devastating. Each impact cracked the ground, sending shockwaves that shattered nearby pillars. But Jax adapted, rolling, dodging, striking the weak points in Krell's armor. Lysara matched him perfectly, timing her strikes to exploit every opening Jax created. "You fight well for prey," Krell snarled, grabbing Jax by the throat and hurling him against a wall. Jax coughed, spitting blood. "Yeah? We're the kind of prey that bites back." Lysara's staff struck the ground, releasing a pulse that sent Krell stumbling. "Now!" she shouted. Jax slammed his baton into Krell's chest plate. The combined surge of energy cracked the armor, sending fissures of blue light crawling across it. Krell roared, swinging wildly, but Lysara was faster. She leapt, spinning midair, and brought her staff down in a flash of white light. The impact threw Krell backward into a shattered column. The sound echoed through the plaza. For a moment, everything was still. Then the fake key at Jax's side began to flicker, its timer nearing the end. He looked down, realization dawning. Lysara? We might have a problem." The fake relic pulsed faster, unstable energy swirling inside it. Lysara's eyes widened. "It's overloading. If it detonates here, then we take the fight somewhere else." Jax grabbed the relic and ran straight toward the edge of the plaza. "Jax, no," Lysara called. He turned just long enough to grin at her through the rising dust. "You said humans run toward the fire, remember?" And with that he jumped. The explosion lit the night like a new star. The blast tore through the night like thunder made of light. A wave of gold and violet energy rolled across the skyline, swallowing the rooftops of Aurelion in a silent bloom. Windows shattered, towers swayed, and the air itself vibrated like struck metal. For a moment there was nothing. No sound, no motion, just a column of radiance spiraling upward into the sky. Then the shockwave hit. Lysera shielded her face as the explosion's afterglow washed over her. Her armor's kinetic field absorbed the worst of it, but the concussive force still sent her sliding backward across the plaza. She braced herself, staff dug into the ground, eyes locked on the heart of the light where Jax Mercer had disappeared. "Jax!" she shouted into her communicator. "Answer me." Static. Only the dying hum of the fake worldseed key remained, fading into silence. Her chest tightened, not from the blast, but from something deeper. Something unfamiliar. Fear. Then through the haze of falling ash, a shape moved. He emerged, limping from the edge of the ruined platform. Suit scorched, armor cracked, but alive. His helmet was gone, hair matted with soot. He looked up at her with a crooked grin. "Next time," he rasped, "we use a smaller bomb." Lysara exhaled a breath she didn't realize she'd been holding. "You reckless creature." He stumbled toward her, coughing. "Hey, you're the one who made the decoy." "I just made it. Exciting." Before she could answer, the ground trembled again, this time deeper, more rhythmic. Something massive was approaching. From the smoke and shattered stone rose Executor Krell, black armor cracked but still burning with energy. His movements were slower now, but each step shook the ground. The explosion hadn't destroyed him, only enraged him. "You cannot kill what the Dominion has perfected," he said, voice distorted by damage to his mask. "You are ants trying to wound a star." Jax straightened, jaw set. "Yeah? Well, maybe ants bite harder than you think." Creel's blade ignited again, red light spilling over the broken plaza. Lysara moved beside Jax, her staff blazing white in contrast. "Together," she said quietly. Jax smirked. "Wouldn't dream of it any other way." The final battle began, not chaos this time, but something sharp and deliberate. The two warriors moved as one. Krell lunged, blade slicing arcs of red across the air. Jax ducked low, rolling to the side, his baton striking at weak joints. Lysara met each heavy blow with her staff, her strikes humming with harmonic resonance. The plaza pulsed with every clash, red and white light battling across the night sky. Krell roared, backhanding Jax into a pillar. Sparks flew. "You think courage can change the stars?" Jax wiped blood from his mouth. "No, but it makes the view worth dying for." He darted forward again, faster than before, using the damaged terrain to his advantage. He vaulted off a broken column, landing a blow across Krell's visor. Cracks spidered through the mask. Lysara seized the moment. She spun her staff, driving its point into the same crack. Energy exploded outward, and Krell staggered backward, armor fissuring under the pressure. The light in his eyes flickered. "Impossible," he rasped.
"No," Lysara said softly.
"Human." With a final combined strike, they drove their weapons together, baton and staff meeting at the center of Krell's chestplate. The impact burst like thunder. Krell let out a guttural roar as his armor split open. Energy erupted from within, and for a heartbeat, he seemed to dissolve into shards of burning light. Then he was gone, consumed in his own power. Silence. Jax collapsed to one knee, gasping for air. The plaza was littered with fragments of glowing metal, the night eerily still. "Tell me that was the last one," he said weakly. Lysara knelt beside him, scanning the wreckage. For now. Above them, the sky began to clear. The explosion had torn a rift through the clouds, revealing the twin moons glimmering peacefully over the wounded city. Lysara turned to Jax. "You should not have survived that fall." He grinned faintly. "Yeah, well, humans have a habit of doing what we're not supposed to." She studied him for a long moment, violet eyes glowing softly in the fading light. "You've changed something, Jax Mercer." He blinked. "What, your palace?" "No," she said quietly. "Me." There was a pause, long enough for the wind to sweep through the ruined plaza, carrying the faint hum of the world-seed engine far below. Jack stood slowly, wincing. "So what now? We throw a party? Build a statue?" Lysara gave him a small, rare smile. "We prepare." Krell was only the blade. "The hand that wielded him still watches." "The Dominion," Jack said, his voice tightening. She nodded. "They will return with more ships, more soldiers. They will want what you protected tonight." He glanced toward the distant horizon where the first lights of dawn touched the ruins. "Then I guess I'm not leaving anytime soon." "You wish to stay?" "Someone's got to teach your guards how to handle humans," he said with a smirk. "Plus, Someone's got to watch your back. For a moment her expression softened completely. Then may your fire keep burning, human. And may your stars keep glowing, Queen. They stood together, silhouetted by the new light of morning, two figures from different worlds, bound now by battle and something neither had words for. Far below, deep in the spire's foundations, the real world seed key began to pulse faster, as if awakening. Its hum resonated through the city, faint but growing. The war might be won, but the story of the engine had only just begun. The first light of morning spilled across the ruins of the auric spire like a slow tide of gold. Smoke drifted upward in lazy ribbons, glowing softly in the twin suns. The city was quiet now, broken, battered, but alive. From the highest terrace of the spire, Jax Mercer stood overlooking the horizon. His stealth suit hung in tatters, armor dented and scorched, but his eyes were steady. Below him, workers and sentinels moved through the debris, rebuilding, clearing, salvaging. He had seen worlds burn before, but this was different. This one had fought back. Behind him, soft footsteps echoed. He didn't need to turn to know who it was. Lysara, the matriarch of Aurelian, approached in her ceremonial robes. They were repaired hastily, edges torn and streaked with ash, but the silver thread still caught the light. She carried no crown, only a faint exhaustion that even royalty couldn't hide. "I thought you'd be gone by now," she said quietly, her voice carrying over the wind. Jack smiled faintly. "Yeah, I tried. My ship's still half melted. Besides, you'd probably send someone after me just to argue about protocol." "Perhaps," she said with a small smirk. Then after a pause, "But I'm glad you stayed." Jax turned to face her. "How bad's the damage?" "Half the city's energy grid is gone," Lysara replied. "Several districts uninhabitable for now, but we will rebuild. We always do." He nodded, looking toward the skyline. "You know, on Earth we have a saying, if you're still standing after the fire, you've already won." "Earth sounds stubborn," she said. "Oh, we are," he grinned. "Stubbornness is humanity's superpower. That and bad jokes." Her lips curved faintly, but her gaze turned serious again. "The Dominion will not forget this." Executor Corell was powerful, but only one voice in a greater chorus. When the others learn what happened here, what you and I did, they will come in force. "Let them," Jack said simply. "We'll be ready next time." "We?" He met her eyes. "Yeah, I'm not going anywhere." Lysara's expression softened. "You would stay on a world that is not your own?" "Wouldn't be the first time," he said. "But this time it feels like the right one." For a long moment they stood in silence, the wind playing softly through the broken towers. Then Lysara extended her hand. In her palm lay a small crystal disc, etched with alien runes and pulsing faintly with light. "This is a resonance seal," she said. "It carries my mark. It means you speak with my authority. To my people, it means trust." Jax took it gently. The disc felt warm, alive. "That's a lot of trust for someone who broke into your house." "Perhaps that is why it feels earned," she replied. They shared a quiet laugh, something rare and human between the two of them. But their peace didn't last. From the far edge of the city, a low hum began to rise. Lysara turned toward the sound. On the horizon, the atmosphere rippled with faint distortions, like heat waves bending the sky. "Ships?" Jax asked, tensing. Lysara activated her wrist console. "No, something else. It's coming from below." The ground beneath them trembled just enough to make the metal underfoot ring. Then, from the depths of the spire, a pulse of light erupted, bright and pure, racing up the central column like a heartbeat coming to life. Jax shielded his eyes. "What now?" "The engine," Lysara whispered. "It's awakening." The pulse faded, leaving behind a steady hum that vibrated through the air. Around them, the remaining crystals of the spire began to glow, connecting in intricate patterns. The energy wasn't destructive this time, it felt alive. "Is it supposed to do that?" Jax asked. "No," Lysara said softly, almost in awe. "It only responds to intent. And after the battle, after the fusion of our energies, our resonance." She turned toward him, her eyes wide. "It may have recognized something new." "New?" "A bond," she said. "A unity between two species who were never meant to stand together. You and I may have changed the code itself." Jax looked at the glowing spire, then back at her. "So, we broke cosmic software?" "Or rewrote it," she said. "And now, it listens." From the base of the tower, a projection appeared. an enormous holographic star map filled with light trails and distant markers. 3 distinct signals blinked in unison. Lysara's breath caught. The other fragments of the world seed engine, she said. It's showing us where they are. Jack stared at the stars. You mean the next ones? The ones you said were lost? Yes. Her voice trembled with both wonder and fear. The relic has chosen its next path. Jax chuckled softly. Guess the universe doesn't like loose ends. He turned toward her, extending a hand. So, Your Majesty, ready for a road trip across the stars? Lysara hesitated only a moment before taking his hand. Not a road trip, she corrected with a small smile. A beginning. They stood together as the twin suns rose higher, washing the wounded city in gold. The holographic map glowed between them, lighting their faces, the human and the alien ruler united by battle and destiny. Far above, the void of space shimmered faintly, as if the stars themselves were watching, and deep within the spire the world seed engine pulsed again, steady, alive, and listening, marking the dawn of something the galaxy had not seen in millennia. Not conquest, not survival, but unity. The human fire and the alien light had finally met, and together they would change the stars forever.